Hi guys, my name is Kel. I'm from Australia. I've lived in Australia all my life and I've just moved over here to the Philippines in March, end of March this year. I was coming a little bit earlier, but because of COVID, as you all know, we all got tied down for a couple of years, so I'm here now. The purpose of this video is just to tell Australians what life is actually like in the Philippines. Cost of things, all that sort of thing. This is my first attempt at this, so I'll just see how we go. Things like beer is fairly cheap. Yeah, it's actually really cheap. Your transport, things like tricycles and jeepneys and taxis are fairly cheap too. If you don't know what a jeepney is, I'll take a photo of one later on and put on the site as well. Trouble is with jeepneys and tricycles, the comfort factor isn't there, so they're not really they're not that comfortable. And to go somewhere, you've got to take one or two just to cover a certain amount of distance. Apart from that, as I said, fruit, veggies, your normal everyday things like washing powder, deodorants and all that sort of thing, it's almost the same price as Australia. Now, meat is a little bit cheaper. It's a bit cheaper, but probably about 3/4 of the price. Things like if you go to a chemist, that sort of thing, well, yeah, your medicine is fairly cheap. Like you can get a tablet for something for like 20 pesos, which is about 30 cents, I think it is. You don't have to buy a box of 20. You can get 2, or you can get 10, or whatever. So those sort of things aren't too bad. Where I'm living, it's in a place called Mayfair Park in Cainta. Now, it consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably six separate houses. Like mine's called Malacca. There's one called Seoul. There's one called Malanda. They all got foreign names, and they're normally 5-story high. Rent-wise here, I pay 17,000 pesos a month, which comes back to about a little bit over $400. So it's a lot cheaper rent-wise to be here than Australia. The people here are friendly. There's a group of expats here when we meet up and have drinks down at the place called The Shack, which I'll show you all later on. I'll take a video, maybe if I go down tonight, I'll take a video then. The apartment itself is 2-bedroom, 2 air cons. You've got a complex in a swimming pool in the complex, a basketball court, a badminton court. You've got 2 security gates, and you've got security guards walking around all the time. So security-wise is really good, and it's a very friendly place to be. As I said, I'll later on today or tomorrow when I'm walking around, I'll take a photo of the place and I'll put it on here as well. The only thing, like where I am, Cainta is probably about half an hour outside of Manila, I suppose. Maybe a little bit more depending on the famous Philippine traffic. But it's not like Australia. You don't have like the Gold Coast and separation in Brisbane. That everything it's just one big area. Like all the suburbs or provinces, as they call them, basically running together. But it's still, to be here is still, probably because of the rent is a lot cheaper than being in Australia. But you know, you hear people saying that, oh, it's so much cheaper to be here and so much cheaper than Australia. Well, you have to do the figures. It's not. Certain things are and certain things aren't. When we moved in here, my partner and I, we were semi-furnished. So we bought a double sofa, which cost just under 9,000 pesos, which is just under $200, I suppose. Wardrobes, that sort of thing, double queen size bed, which was the same, and mattress about $9. So you can get furniture fairly cheaply. So that all counts too. So you just got to take the pros and the cons into it. It is a good place to live, as long as you don't mind the heat and the humidity, because that is very. I know we get 30 degrees and 30 somethings in Australia, especially where I come from, the Gold Coast. Temperature's the same here, but it's a humidity that is fairly high. That can make you, by the time you walk 10 metres, you can be sweating. Probably the same if some folk have been used to Thailand. It's pretty well the same. You usually get a shuttle from here down to the main road to the shopping centres and that, and it costs 10 pesos, which is like 20 cents. I'll show you the shuttle later on when I'm on one. It's quite good, very convenient. They've got a clubhouse here, which is convenient, and as I say, they've got the bar, the shack, where you can also buy food, hot food, cold food. So it's all pretty good. We got a huge well, not a huge one, but we got a hypermarket next door to us. So where I am, you don't really have to go anywhere, but I know there are lots of places where you do have to travel around to things like supermarkets and that. That's when you just have to take advantage of the tricycles and the jeepneys and that, even though they're not that comfortable, they are cheaper, and that's the way to do it, I think. Well, as I said, this is the first vlog, so I'll leave it off at that. But later on, I'll take some videos of the surrounding areas. I'll also put on here a video that we done on Father's Day, which was a couple of weeks ago here. Different day than Australia. I'll put that on, and I'll put one on of the complex, the bar, and all that sort of thing later on. So thank you for taking the time to watch this. And I'll just put more on later on. Thank you very much. Bye.